From meters away, inviting aroma of fluffy Akara Osu whets the appetite of an average traveler on the Akure-Ilesha Expressway by Iloba Junction in Osu Town as one journeys towards Ekiti and Osun States, southwest Nigeria. You wouldn't blame them. That freshly fried akara has been guilty of such alluring invites for years. It's ever sizzling hot. Getting to the buying spot and merely watching the fries makes the customers salivate. They can't just afford to pass by without stopping to buy. Well, that has been the catch here at Ipetumodo in Osu area of Osun State. Each day of every week, this Iloba junction pulsates with women, young and old, and even men, sprinting after vehicles to sell their ever-hot fried bean cakes, widely known as Akara Osu, to consumers who are ready to gobble them down. Back in the olden days, Akara Osu used to be fried with locally made, cost-efficient palm oil. Then, women would heat up about 2 liters quantity of palm oil inside a large metal pan called Agbari Ojuku in Yoruba language. Given the deeper reddish color from the palm oil, they called it Akara Osu Elepo. In recent times, due to modernization, as few of the women noted, they have resorted to using vegetable oils. Side talks even hinted that use of vegetable oils began when some foreigners tagged Oyibos, meaning white people, joined the team of clients. Inadvertently, that is coming with a possible hazard to consumers' health, as I will sensitize you about shortly if you stay with me.
Where I am standing right now is popularly known as the Ipetumodo Akara Junction roundabout, or the Akara Osu market, where travelers stand by to buy akara bean cake. Now, an akara is a delicious bean cake which is usually crunchy and crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. Now, the amazing texture of this akara and the taste starts way before even frying it, which makes it a delight for travelers on this route who are traveling to either Ekiti or Osun State. But there's an issue now, and that is the fact that due to the high cost of items in the market, getting the right oil to use for this akara has become very difficult. It is very expensive now to get the right vegetable oils, and this has led to repeated use of a particular oil for frying this bean cake and its attendant health challenges.
On a potential flip side, however, vegetable oils used in frying these tasty bean cakes have become too costly. No thanks to the current declining economic recession that has surged prices of basic commodities in the markets. This makes the women, as they claim, to resort to reusing their oils by heating and storing same for days on end.
Things are very costly. We buy oil for 35,000 naira. And we are just managing ourselves. We don't have the capacity to buy both beans and oil anymore.
Before we were buying 2,500 before 5 liters. Now we just buy 7,000 naira now. Everything's too cost. Beans, everything. Buy pepper, onion. It's too cost now.
When you look at the economic situation of the country now, the whole prices of commodities now, they have skyrocketed. And like what I was meant to know, that there's a particular type of oil that they use here, and it's called King's oil. So they said ever since then that since the economy has been unstable, they as well too, the market women too, they started experiencing they are feeling the consequences of the increment in prices.
If we are do it this big cake now, we can never sell it in another day. If we are using, if we are doing it now, we go sell it today.
The bean cake,
yes.
But the oil, we can preserve the oil and use it again.
I will preserve it with this bowl to preserve it till tomorrow. So after that, I will use another one with that one that we are using yesterday. So 5 liter in a day. With that one we are having remain yesterday.
So you can add another one.
We can add another one 5 liter. Nothing happened to that one we having yesterday. Nothing happened with it too. So I will do another one with it.
Look at the frying pan right now. Before we used to fill it with oil to this stage, but right now because of the expenses and other things, we make it to be very small. So we use the oil repeatedly until it dries inside the pot.
Reusing cooking oil, according to medical experts, leads to partial hydrogenation, that is, the addition of hydrogen to a compound, especially to solidify an unsaturated fat or fatty acid, as it often converts oil to more stable liquid or semi-solid form, resulting in a mixture of saturated fats. Now, saturated fatty acids are said to be one of the worst types of fats to eat, as they increase the risk of coronary heart diseases, infertility in women, and compromised fetal development, in the submission of medical experts.
A lot of vegetable oils enter the market, and but not all called vegetable oils are vegetable oils. There are some oil that are melted animal fat. So they melt the animal fat and they package it and sell it as vegetable oil in the market. And such products, even if they are passed by now, they are labeled as being healthy. But if they get to an institution like Nigerian Heart Foundation, where we also have to do a higher analysis, certainly we detect them that they are not real vegetable oil. If the marketers are subjected to being, it's compulsory for them, it's mandatory for them to get licensing to be able to test it. So they won't package animal fat and sell it as vegetable oils. Like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it used to be felt that the black Africans, they are immune to heart disease. But of course, you know the story.
Fast foods, margarines, deep-fried diets like akara and finger foods like puff-puff, pizzas, as well as vegetable oils are all tagged main culprits in the production of trans fatty acids in the food chain. Partially hydrogenated oil known as trans fats are used by food production companies, including small and medium enterprises, because they are easy and inexpensive to use. They also have long shelf life and give food desirable tastes. Yet, they have earned global notoriety for being one of the most dangerous food compounds.
If people are dying from things that we know can be easily prevented by simple promulgation and enforcement of relevant policy, why should we waste time? I think that's the sense of urgency. There are so many young people now who are having, a kidney failure, having stroke, having heart failure. I mean, all kinds of things that we didn't even know, were connected to the foods that they were consuming.
The World Health Organization's records show that an estimated 540,000 people die annually from the consumption of trans fat, which has necessitated the call for its elimination in food supplies. In 1994, the organization advised the food industry to investigate whether production of these substances can be reduced or eliminated.
Injection of industrially produced trans fat has no known health benefits. Instead, it is associated with increased risk of coronary heart disease, with more than 500,000 deaths attributed. As WHO, elimination of industrially produced trans fat acid from the food supply is one of our priority targets, as indicated in the 13th General Program of Work. In view of this, the replace package aimed at supporting governments to eliminate industrially produced trans fat from global food supply was launched in 2018. and is currently being implemented.
For Nigeria, the quick passage of the fat and oil regulation will ensure that the Nigerian government safeguards the lives of millions of its citizens from this harmful fats, thereby raising healthy population for the future.
A 1994 report in the American Journal of Public Health suggested that approximately 30,000 premature coronary heart disease deaths annually could be attributable to consumption of trans fatty acids. The growing weight of evidence against trans fatty acids forced the U.S. New Drug Administration, NDA, in 1999 to issue a proposal for including trans fatty acids content on food labels. In Nigeria, a 2020 WHO published data on coronary heart disease deaths noted that it reached 61,374, or 4.14% of total deaths. Sadly, these cautions have not been enough to dissuade some manufacturers from persisting in the huge health risk of trans fat productions. Many of them are still found culpable of not even providing extensive information about the trans fatty acid levels in their products.
Safety of food products from farm to table should be a shared responsibility of the government, the producers and consumers of food products. But as it currently stands in Nigeria today, particularly due to the abysmal socio-economic problems in the country, most manufacturers and producers of food products do not provide extensive information about the trans fatty acid levels in their food products. And even when this information is provided and is accurate, most consumers do not necessarily take time to look at the food labels before they purchase them. And even when they do, some of them just look out for expiry dates and date of manufacture. And in some cases, they look out for NAFDAC numbers. So here in a shopping mall in Lagos, Nigeria, we're trying to find out how important food label check is and how much Nigerians check their food labels before they purchase them from the shelves. You say you don't normally buy the one that will give you cholesterol. So I want to find out, how do you know the level of cholesterol in a product that you're buying that is not good for you? There's what is called trans fat. Have you heard about it?
For cholesterol, before you buy any product, any vegetable oil, you need to read the content. It is our own belief. Our time is minority, but our belief is the content should guide you on which one to buy.
What we normally look out for, first of all, the NAFDAC number, the expiring date, and the contents, which is made of. It's an open shop and it's for everybody. So we now know the one that is good for our customer for consumption.
So I think before you purchase anything, you have to just look at the label and see the expiring date. You understand? As to prevent your health from being, damaged or negatively affected.
We check the expiry date of the item before you buy.
It's actually very good when you check the label, because you'll be able to know more about the product in the terms that people are scared of expiry dates and stuff like that.
You heard about trans fat, what they call trans fat. And if you check your food labels, do you check for the trans fat level in the food label?
Trans fat in what sense, man? What?
A type of fat that is called trans fat.
I've not heard about that, man.
I don't have the detailed knowledge of that. I don't have the detailed knowledge of what just mentioned now.
Well, I cannot say much about that.
Not really. What's that? I don't check for that too. I don't check for it. I only check the expiring date, and if those things are affecting health, normally government are supposed to ban them. They are not supposed to allow it come out. So how many would that, even in this country where we find ourselves, there are some expired product that they will backdate it and still bring it out for us to consume. So how do we know? I think we have a quality control. You will go through them before it comes out.
No, I don't check on that, but I check on if it has maybe cholesterol or something. So that's what I check for. And I'm always keen about the expiry date.
It depends on what I'm buying. It's not a common thing. It's not that common. So it depends on the thing. What we are buying is normally day-to-day things that we know.
Trans fat, can you please expatiate on that? I'm I'm not familiar with that. We learn every day.
This high level of consumers' poor awareness makes them consume foods, hampering their health and ebbing their lives. Transfat Free Nigeria campaigners have therefore argued that regulations to limit the trans fatty acid levels on food products to the globally acceptable amount per serving on nutritional fact labels would be the panacea to the malady for Nigeria to meet up with the expected norms. The regulation is expected to compel manufacturers to comprehensively label their products for consumers' wellness.
So the most important thing is to be sure that you don't take too much oil, whether it is mono or monosaturated or polysaturated or whatever, but to stay away as much as possible from partially hydrogenated fats and oils. For example, French fries, akara, dodo or plantain or whatever. If they are fried with oils that will not sleep, that are not sleeping in the room, no, that's okay. Highly saturated fats are being banned because it's causing so much health issue. We want to be sure that the labeling, if it says 0 fat, it means it should be 0 fat.
While the Nigerian government has since begun the process of formulating the oils and fats regulation to redress this public health challenge and meet the 2030 global elimination target, the gazette of the regulation is still being awaited. The fats and oils regulation, when operational in Nigeria, will, among other things, limit trans fats to 2 grams per 100 grams of food supplies in Nigeria.
I think we're beginning to hear that we're making progress. Progress in terms of NAFDAC now. The NAFDAC Council approving the draft regulation and that it has been transmitted to the Federal Ministry of Health. And so that gives us some indicators that very soon we will have the regulation. So now we are beginning now to expand the Transfat Free Nigeria Coalition to be able to move this particular critical stage of getting the ministry to fast track the approval of the regulation, and of course for us to now move to compliance and enforcement stage. Now we're now calling on government agencies that will be involved to say, look, we are ready.
Paying attention to food labels before purchase by consumers will no doubt serve as a standard to keep manufacturers on their toes and enable consumers to know the details to look out for in their consumables in the interest of public health to achieve a trans-fat-free Nigeria, just as the world works towards its total ban by the year 2030.